to make a movie out of it. And I'll be discussing the movie version tonight and about how it relates to our Christian lives. So whenever Dorothy lands, and who hasn't seen The Wizard of Oz? Anyone? Raise your hand. Good. Good. I don't want to spoil it for you. So whenever Dorothy first lands in Wizard of Oz, in the land of Oz, what does she land in? A house. What does it land on? The most evil person's sister in Oz. Not a great thing to start out with once you're there. So the Munchkins come out of their land and they say, thank you. Now, Dorothy represents each and every one of us before we were saved into Christ, or if we're not saved tonight, us right now. We were lost away from home and we can't get back, and we met all these strange people called Munchkins in Munchkin land. So we might be asking ourselves, what are Munchkins? And I know as tall people in here will probably regret hearing this, but us churchgoers are the Munchkins tonight. We are good people who want to try and defeat the evil in the world, even though we might be overcome by it at points, but we want to defeat it and get it out of our land. And Munchkin land represents the church, because Dorothy lands right in Munchkin land, and this is where she starts, on the yellow brick road. Now, at the beginning of The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy can take two paths, the yellow brick road and the red brick road. The yellow brick road leads into the Emerald City, which is where the wizard lives, while the red brick road leads to the Wicked Witch. Obviously, she wants to take the path to the wizard so she can get home. So the Munchkins, us, encourage her to go to the wizard to go home. Now, if you've seen the movie, you know Dorothy is not alone. She is accompanied by Toto, her little dog, super cute. I wanted one whenever I was a little kid. And that represents her conscience. It follows her everywhere around. It sometimes knows what's right and wrong by barking at it. Now, they follow along the yellow brick road, which leads to Oz, or heaven. Now, the first person they come across is the Scarecrow. Which, audience, what does he want? A brain. Now, in his search for a brain, he says, I'm so stupid, I can't do anything, I just fall down everywhere. But she encourages him, come with us to the wizard, and we'll try and get a brain for you. Then they walk upon the yellow brick road until they stumble across the Scarecrow, no, the Tin Man, excuse me, in which they have to oil up. Now, the Tin Man wants a heart, because the tinsmith forgot to give him a heart whenever he was being put together. Then he stumbles upon the Cowardly Lion, who first is an enemy to him, or to them, but now they fight on to Oz with his help. Now, if you remember the end, and I'm sorry we have to skip to the end, but we have to remember what the wizard says to the three accomplices to Dorothy. He says, you had these things all along. So the Scarecrow always had a brain, the Tin Man always had a heart, and the Cowardly Lion always had some courage. So now we might ask ourselves, what does this represent in our Christian lives? It means we always, or whenever we started down our yellow brick road, we found a way to understand the difference between what is right and what is wrong, or knowledge, which is what the Scarecrow wanted. Then we found the Tin Man, in which, after oiling up, or softening his heart, he found that there is love and compassion in the world, and he wanted to go along with them to help them find love and compassion. Then the Cowardly Lion, what did he want? Courage. What does he have? The bravery to go along now and help other people, or to become Christians and enter into the land of Oz. So eventually, whenever they reach Oz, they get met by a mean, bad gatekeeper who, in case you didn't notice, is the wizard. Spoiler alert. Now, the wizard, or the gatekeeper, says, no, you can't come in. But eventually, Dorothy says, but we've worked so hard this long. Just let us in and let us talk to the wizard. So he says, yes. But what does Oz say? I'm sorry, I can't help you. There is still evil within the land. You must go and defeat it. And her name is the Wicked Witch of the West, whose sister you killed. Great news, right? So, She says, I can't do that. You're a wizard. Why can't you just... But that's not as easy as we always know. So they go to the Wicked Witch of the West castle. And what does Dorothy have to do in order to kill her? She must douse her by water, which is the exact same thing that we must use to remove the evil in our lives. We must be plunged in that there baptistry or any body of water, and then the evil will be washed out of us. So as Dorothy then melts the Wicked Witch of the West, the evil is gone from the land of Oz, in which she can return to the Emerald City to hopefully go home. Except she can't, because Oz seems to not have that power yet. Although he does have power in the real world, we know that he can't just absolutely always just take us straight up to heaven, or else we wouldn't be right here right now. So he tries his hardest, but Dorothy still has to stay and fight through her emotions to not go home yet, until she finally reaches home. Now tonight, if there's anyone here who has a brain and knows what good and bad is, and has had a heart and knows that there's good in the world, and that it will have the courage to come up here and have the evil defeated from their heart. Are you ready to go home? Come now as we stand and sing.